Welcome back. Photographer John Ficara has mapped the decline of black farmers in the US through his documentary work. He has seen some farmers successfully adapt to the changing marketplace, but frequently it's a very different story.
When I first visited Willie Adams in central Georgia, Willie had 6 chicken houses operational, filled to capacity, and he was doing quite well. Upon visiting Willie recently, I was disheartened to see Willie in the condition that he was in.
They said that I was too far away and that they couldn't pick my chickens up. And the baddest part about it, they didn't give me no warning, didn't tell me anything. I was prepared to prepare my houses for chickens and everything, and I was gonna get chickens on a Monday, and 2 of the representatives from Purdue Poultry came by that Friday and told me, said, well, we won't be able to supply you with chickens. I said, why? They said, because you're too far away, and said, we just hadn't got around to notify you that.
As a result, he ended up selling 3 of the chicken houses with the land, and he's struggling to find new ways to make his farm useful and productive.
I done some experiment with some squash and tomatoes and cabbage. I hope to come inside here and it's 10 foot from the wall to the post and put in about 12 to 18 inches of topsoil and kind of grow plants out of season, such as collards and salad or whatever in the winter months and other different plants.
Well, I'm looking at a picture right here, view with these plants. The last time I was here, Willie, you had a whole bunch of chickens around your ankles.
You're going from chickens to plants. Yeah. I did receive some loans. For instance, when I built my dairy barn, okay, it was going to take $125,000 for the cows and the barn and the equipment to get it up and going. That was used equipment and stuff. They only lent me $80,000. Okay, and mine was just an example of other examples across the country. They only loan you enough money to get in trouble. They know it. They loan you the money to fail. You know, and so a lot of times, and you say, well, I know this is what I need. They said, well, this is all we can get. My kind of supervisor used to tell me, he said, well, I'll get you a little money. His tongue, well, I'll get you a little money. And they know they're getting you in trouble. It's a feeling that you're second-class citizen. You're wrapped up in a situation where you have to just try to survive. You can't worry about what we've done lost, it's gone.
Willie Adams, who also was a member of the class action suit, was denied those funds. Those funds probably would have come in very handy and probably to this day would have helped him sustain his farm during this recent decline he's now seeing. But the reality of competing with larger corporate operations for all family farms these days, black and white, is going to be, it's an uphill struggle. When I first visited the Marable farm down in southwest Georgia, the farm was in decline. Luther Marable had suffered heart troubles, and as his health declined, so did the farm. James Marable, one of his sons, was in high school, a member of the Future Farmers of America, and was hoping to take over the family farm, continue farming that land.
Well, my father was a good farmer because he wasn't scared to take a chance. A good decision or a bad decision, he wasn't scared to take a chance. If he felt like that he wanted to plant 100 acres of peas, that's what he planted, regardless of what the price was when they got ready. And that always was his motto, never be scared. You got to take a chance. This just a small farm. It's not a big farm. I mean, when we was stretched out, farming 1,500 acres, You know, that was a big burden. But, you know, you steady got to stay on your P's and Q's, steady figuring out how you're gonna keep your income coming to keep stuff planted, to support your family, to make sure everybody is being paid and whatnot. And then, you know, you gather your crop, you take it to the market, and they take it. They don't want to pay you nothing for it. Financially, what put us in the shape that we were in was we was dealing with Farmers Home Administration. They'll lend you money to farm with, but the black farmers, when they really need their money is in December to get ready for the following year. So in January, they can start prepping their land. Well, Farmers Home Administration would give the white folks their money during the time they need it so they can get prepped for the next year. But the black farmers, they would get their money more so in March. But whatever you ask for, if you needed $60,000 to farm with for this year, Farmers Home Administration wouldn't approve but $30,000. So that already cut you in half. Money wasn't being lended, you're having to farm out your pocket. As I got older, got married, had kids, needed more of an income coming in. So in order to do that, we had to do a lot of cutback, let some land go. Eventually we got all the way down to the home place, and that's all we got. It all was driven into the ground that way, to the point that you couldn't survive.
Morris Marable is James's older brother. Morris's experience in trying to secure funds from USDA and other lending institutions echoes that of James and other thousands of farmers around the country.
When I was going to apply for loans, try to get a farming loan, because I was a young farmer, that made me a beginner's farmer. And I went and tried to get the application and stuff, and I explained where I was going to farm at and who was going to be behind me, teaching me how to farm and stuff like that. The guy just plain out come out and told me, you would not get a loan from us. And then another guy told me to go and get some committee members. I had the same people on the committee we sat down and wrote letters together and all that and submitted it to him, and he still denied me. He just said I didn't have the capability of a farm. But I was born and raised on a farm all my life. What else I know to do? That feels like when you're walking into a door and somebody just keeps slamming them in your face. You know you can go in, but why it's got to be slammed in your face all the time? That's rough.
My dad's health just started declining. It was a lot of get up 4, 5 o'clock in the morning and start getting ready. You might not stop until 10, 11 o'clock that night. Diabetes, and then he had a few strokes, and next thing we know, in 1995, he was gone. Dealing with the racism and the other stuff that come along with farming and getting shut down like you did, it kind of makes you feel angry. But in time, you feel that if people knew that growing produce was hard as it was, that they would respect the farmer more so and be more willing to help a farmer to make sure that there's plenty of this grown, plenty of that, instead of trying to make a buck off of what a farmer grows from taking his product that he works so hard at. With the pressures of dealing with Farmers Home Administration, it just takes everything from you.
My opinion about farming is, the way it seems, they don't want no small farmers, and they don't want no black farmers. That's what it seems like they're pushing it to, is they're trying to stop us all from farming. Some of the best people out farmers ever know was black. And them guys, they worked them farms hard all their lives, took care of their families, everybody did good, got along good and all. And now there's just so many of them, you can't hardly count them on one hand. You know, they don't count us 2 hands, there ain't enough of them to count. And that's making the younger black guy, the young guy that come off the farm, go looking for something else to do because they see their granddaddies, their daddies, their uncles, cousins, they're catching so hard trying to farm. So if they going through all this hard time now, how hard is it gonna be for you another 10 years? It ain't gonna be no little farmers. And if they can squeeze everybody off the land, that's what they're gonna do. Big guys gonna come in and buy it all, and everybody gonna be in trouble. Everybody had to move to town. And nobody wants that.
Today, the federal government says that there are 28,000 black farmers left in America. Our statistics show closer to 18,000 black farmers that are left in America, all operating about 3 million acres of land.
Transitioning this farm back to you working on it, I mean, what else are you looking forward to, you know, perhaps starting your fields and planting?
Well, the biggest thing is the vegetables.
Produce.
Produce, yeah.
Okay, so you'll go back to produce.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Produce is number one thing, you know.
James Marable currently is driving a truck interstate. And while his hopes are to come back to the farm and build up the farm once again, the likelihood of that happening are going to be very difficult. The cost of starting up a farm, reinvesting money in equipment, or even repairing the equipment that's existing is going to be a really costly proposition.
Farming is my life and always was my life, but I had to do something a little different. Now my goal is, one day before I leave Mother Earth here, is to be farming again.
At their peak in 1920, black farmers made up 14% of all farming in the United States. Today, it is less than 1% and falling. If the trend continues, it is estimated that there will be no black farmers by the end of the next decade. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you again on Witness.